It's time for this week's Here's How. And this week, here's how to make people think there's a secret governmental body trying to replace dogs with identical yet sterilised dogs. Make some Facebook posts claiming you saw some guy in a suit forcing dogs into the back of a van, and then you later saw those same dogs happily and calmly exit the same van, and more importantly, they were all looking a lot less horny than when they went in there. Go on the local radio and tell the host about how your dog has started shooting blanks. Explain that you didn't notice a daily drop off in sperm count for your dog, it's just a sudden lack of sperm cells in his sample. When you go into the pub, start staring at one of the dogs and tell people something about it just seems a little off. Say how it's hard to explain, but you think that maybe it's been swapped with an identical dog but with prosthetic testicles. Keep a record book of dates and weights, a lot like what a takeaway would keep for its fridges, but instead of it being genuine numbers in there, it's the falsified testicle weights of your dog. Put up signs in the local parks that ask the owners who walk the dogs in there if they have actually ever seen a dog give birth. Provide a little pull-off on the poster with details of where they can meet up to watch a dog give birth and attempt to reproduce so that they can, know what they should be looking out for in the future. Dress in the appropriate apparel of a long light brown overcoat and travel around dog-heavy areas and assess the testicles using your homemade nadagram, which is just your ex-wife's hairdryer with a laser pen mounted on top and a couple of strong neodymium magnets on the front of it. Scan the dog's scrotum and push them side to side with a pencil. Maybe take notes using the pencil, possibly of the owner's address and name. Make sure you just number the dogs though, for authenticity. Crawl towards a female dog and shout "Womb!" at it. Claim that if it appears aggressive or scared, it is actually traumatised because it doesn't have a womb anymore. If it isn't phased or it just seems a bit playful, claim that the dog isn't in fact the real dog and it's one of the synthetic unbreedable dogs that we've all been reading so much about. When you see a dog waiting in a car, stand guard by it and wait until the owner gets back and then tell them how they don't know how lucky they are that it was you that discovered their dog and not a government operative whose only task is to take dogs and replace them with a sterilised counterpart. Take part in local events, get a table and make up some of these tall posters that roll up into a metal box on the floor, and then hand out pamphlets as well about the dangers of dogs being replaced. Have t-shirts made, tell everyone you aren't looking for donations, you're just trying to spread awareness. Tell them that soon no one's going to be able to breed dogs and they'll all either be government bred dogs or even worse, government issued false canines programmed to act like dogs, made to bleed, eat shit and piss like dogs, but without the ability to bear their own puppies. Maybe it's time to organise a protest, take to the streets with a megaphone and use a familiar melody to get your point across. Something like, the council's taking our dogs, replacing them in a night, then they're putting them down and then they're burning them. Soon they'll come for our cats, the answer lies in their piss, the chemicals in their piss. It's so easy to miss. They put the collar back on, put them back in your house, slip them onto your couch, but they're missing the nads. They pop a chip in their head and it all reports back. Your real puppy is dead. It is happening to bloodhounds, Alsatians and mongrels. Jack Russells. They're not puppies, they're robot dogs. Under council control. You don't want to make it too complicated for the masses to chant, I guess, but I guess you could pop some stuff on SoundCloud and look for donations towards your paraphernalia in return for a version of a Tim McGraw song. Government officials, stop dogs getting frisky. And them pups can't get sold. So they replace the dogs you all own, but they don't have a soul. The face and fur looks right, but they don't have any balls. It acts like the dog that you know. Something's different inside, your real dog's dead. They broke his Johnson, replaced his bollocks. They think that we don't know. They put machinery in their bodies and somehow make them grow. They tested it out on birds And that means less eggs in the world. The government replaced our dogs and thought that we don't know. They're robots or some type of new synthetic we don't know. They never seem to need another battery charge. Still drink water and they eat their food and leave mess in your yard, but your dog's dead. You can still perform simple tests to see if your dog's gone. Take a sample of their fresh feces. Look for robotic parts. Does their poo look too curled? That means your dog has no womb. I mean, I'm not going to do all the legwork for you. I'll have to figure out what works to get the message out there. But maybe more importantly, what songs will appeal to people with disposable income. And that's the end of this week's Here's How.